Samathan, upliftment of the village, and the Arogya Yojana, that's the health and well-being of the villagers. What this has done is prevented migration from the villages from 80% to 20%, particularly in the families where Ekal has been able to bring light. So the five-fold program that we work on is basic education, healthcare education, empowerment, development, ethics and values. The last is particularly the one that we are most keen on, because some of you might say that under the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan now schools are coming everywhere, what's the need for you to provide education? You may be right to some extent, but those children who go to the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan school still want to come to our school. And why is that? Because they learn that touching their parents' feet prior to going to school is important. Touching their feet when they come back is important. So those ethics and values which we have started missing in our lives, the civics education is missing in our lives, the moral education that was taught when I was in the second or third standard is missing in our education. This is how our school runs in a village. We don't provide a building. There's a shade of a tree or the panchayat room where all the children get together, and a youth, primarily a lady in that village who's made a teacher, teaches them in the afternoon from 3 to 6 when she's relatively free. She's not doing it for money. It's the empathy towards the other children who are in that village. The motivation is right there. We all talked about our motivation. Who motivates that teacher to take only 1,000 rupees a month as a stipend and teach those children for 3 hours every day of our life? Who are our children? They could be up to 14 years and studying in the first standard, because where else do they go to learn the basics? On an average, we have found that we have about 25 to 30 children in a class. And right now, as you were informed that by 2012, we had about 47,000 schools. I'm glad to inform you that we have gone to about 54,000 schools now, running across the country. So that's what I was saying. Right now, we have 15 lakh children studying in the schools. We have already taught 15 lakh children who have graduated from our little academy. In fact, one of the child was a torch bearer in the Olympics in London, and she was very proud to say that I am a student of Ekal Vidyalaya. Our target is to reach 100,000 schools. When we will reach, I don't want to venture that guess, but as soon as possible. Gram Shiksha is healthcare education, development, empowerment, and this. So we have taught the children. Now we are coming to the gram, the entire body there. So we have the health camps that we do there. And what we have found, and it's surprising, that over 70% of the women and young girls are anemic in those areas. It's a very huge problem, and that ends up causing malnutrition and many other issues. So the first activity that we are taking up under the health scheme is to eliminate the problem of anemia. And malnutrition, of course, is through nutritional garden. So this is some statistics. I'm not going to dwell on that. Holistic development, micro-rural entrepreneurship, we all know what's happening. We have now Mudra Bank and all those kinds of activities which the government has also started, but we have been doing it for the last 25 years. Making agriculture sustainable and making it chemical proof. The nutritional garden has been our most outstanding success story. You teach a farmer that out of your 1 acre land, take 1/10 of that land and create a nutritional farm along with a vermicompost pit. So collect all the biodegradable in your village, put it in the vermicompost pit, create manure. Take the urine of the cow, we teach him how to make it a pesticide. So you have given him chemical-free mechanism. grow some vegetables, grow some fruits, help your family become devoid of malnutrition. And you'll be surprised, we were all in a 3-day Parinam Kumbh in Dhanbad recently, and I heard some farmers, this is the organic farming that we teach the people in those farmers. There were 50,000 people who came from villages to talk about what they have learned from Ekal movement. The most outstanding story that I heard there, which I want to share with you, is a farmer who was taught this farming to do it on 1/10 of his land. He comes up and speaks and says, after the success of that, I converted my entire land into farming vegetables and fruits. And why was that? He says, after I was done with my family to feed them fruits and vegetables along with the regular food, I had so much surplus with me that I started selling it in the village, in the bigger village and town, directly to the mandi. And I started earning so much money, I figured that it might be better to do this than growing rice or wheat. So last year, I made 7 lakh rupees selling vegetables and fruits in the market. Now imagine one farmer doing that. And we have made 50,000 farmers aware of this. You're all chartered accountants, I'm a poor engineer. Just do the little math. Right? That's all I know, arithmetic. I depend on you guys to work my numbers. Even if you take 1 lakh rupees per farmer and 50,000 farmers, 500 crores. So 500 crores is added to your GDP from where? From nothing. Just by growing fruits and vegetables on 1/10 of your farm. That is real Gram Swaraj as we really wanted and as Gandhiji wanted. Right? How do we empower these people? Government has given a great tool, the RTI. I know there is a huge misuse, but these poor people have no thought even in their mind or the wildest dream of misusing this. What do they write the application for? This village deserves a well under this scheme of the government. When can we expect this well to be installed? Can you guess how many wells are already on the paper? We all know what happens. Suddenly those wells started coming back. They were getting installed. The hand pumps are getting installed. The road starts coming in. That helps these farmers to move. They helps to move their vegetables, get the water that they want for farming. That is empowerment of these villagers. And what's our outlay in this whole thing? 20,000 rupees per year. Now you would imagine what is the value for money in this. A 20,000 rupee takes 30 children from complete illiteracy to literacy. Not only them, but their entire families. And also teaches them how to become self-dependent, how to get their rights into their homes and their villages. All these and more for 20,000 rupees a year. And of course, our expenses are more on the actual deliverance rather than administration, which is only about 10% of the whole cost, which is a huge difference compared to many worldwide organizations like Hunger Project, where administration costs are 80%. Okay, we are delivering 90% to the people where it deserves and 10% on the administration. But do you really think that 20,000 is enough to run this? The actual expenditure probably is 4 or 5 times that. And where does that come from? I have a lot of my colleagues sitting here who's spending their own time to take care of the administrative part of this organization, and that money is not counted. That's volunteerism, as Sanjay ji, my good friend, said. Volunteerism is the key to this whole organization. We have samitis in every village. They look after the whole schools, and we have a 7,000 strong team which is doing the actual management of the whole program. This is just some graphics about how we have grown. This, I think, is very important for you to know that we have not left any part of the country untouched by our schools. From Leh Ladakh to Kanyakumari, from Gujarat to Assam, we have schools everywhere. And people are surprised in the strife area of Kashmir, how can you have 3,300 schools? How do these people come to schools where there is so much strife? Same thing in Assam, same thing in Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, the strife areas of near Nagpur, Gadchiroli, all are areas where our schools run and nobody bothers us. Why? Because most of the children from all these people also study in those schools. Who doesn't want their child to go to school? Okay. This is just the organization chart. We have divided the country into 4 zones. We have 22 states, regions. It's a proper, full-fledged organization that's operating this program. We believe very strongly that we are an organization with a difference. It's done by choice. It's for the community. It's the spirit of service that we are all involved in. And it's primarily compassion. Unless there is fire in our heart and there is compassion, I don't think we can go anywhere much. Mind, yes, we are all working with our minds. Our minds will bring us the +4, but our heart is going to bring us the +400 million into the mainstream of our country to take this country where we want it to go. There are 2 people who are responsible for giving us this thought. Swamiji long back said, if poor children cannot go to school, the education must go to school. And that's exactly what we did, is bring it to their doorstep. So they don't have to step out of the village and get their education right there. And Gandhiji said, villages should be self-sustainable units in the economical model of India. And that's what we are training them, that they should earn and learn in their villages so that they don't have to go out and live in a jhoppadpatti in a city just so that they have some cash in their hand. Earn by doing their stuff there and earn cash there. We have been honored by many organizations for the work that we have been doing. These are just some examples. The S.R. Jindal Award was given to us one time, Lala Divanchand Trust. So the organization is there, it's ready to serve the people. You're all chartered accountants. Value for money is extremely clear in your mind. I leave it to your good judgment to decide how and in what way you can participate with our organization. I thank you very much for giving me a patient hearing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goyal.
तो साथियों, शिक्षा के लिए एकलव्य स्कूल का जो योगदान है, 15 लाख बच्चे शिक्षा ग्रहण कर रहे हैं या कर चुके हैं, और इसमें हम क्या योगदान कर सकते हैं ये हमसे ज़्यादा अच्छे से कोई नहीं जान सकता है। सीए ज़्यादा अच्छे से जान सकता है, नॉट इंजीनियर्स आर नॉट पुअर। जैसे मनोज जी ने टी ब्रेक, लंच ब्रेक रखा था, एक अनअनाउंस ब्रेक अभी हुआ था, कॉलिंग द स्पाउस ब्रेक, कि अभी प्ले का टाइम हो गया है, अपनी पत्नियों को बुला लो। तो उससे एक फ़ायदा ये हो गया कि जो लोग फ्रेंड्स ऑफ ट्रेवल सोसाइटी को कंट्रीब्यूट करने वाले हैं, उनको अपना माइंड मेकअप करने के लिए घर जाने की जरूरत नहीं, इधर ही डिस्कस कर लेंगे। और आरवीजी एल्यूमनी की तरफ से हमारे अध्यक्ष श्री मनोज जी सिंगरोदिया ने 2,60,000 रुपये का एक चेक। मैं रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ श्री गोपाल जी काबरा, प्रेसिडेंट है FTS मुंबई के, नमिता जी पांड्या, सरिता जी मानसिंह का और उमेश जी, वो कृपया ऊपर आ जाइए। सुरेंद्र जी केडिया ऑलरेडी हमारे साथ हैं। मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा आरवीजी अध्यक्ष लालचंद जी चौधरी और आरवीजी एल्यूमनी अध्यक्ष मनोज जी सिंगरोदिया क्यों आए और 2,60,000 का चेक RVG एल्यूमनी की तरफ से FTS मुंबई को दें। हमारे साथी FTS को डायरेक्ट भी कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं, RVG एल्यूमनी के थ्रू भी कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं। आप जितना ज़्यादा देंगे उतना अपने लिए कम है। संजय जी ने CA फॉर सोसाइटी बना दी है। अभी संजय जी CA फॉर सोसाइटी आपका बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है। अब CA स्पाउसेस फॉर सोसाइटी भी आप बनवा देना। थैंक यू। नाउ आई रिक्वेस्ट हमारे आरकी
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for your speeches. And yes, I hope that many contributions keep coming, and we keep growing from cent to them with the core population of India. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we would now like to present mementos to the people who've made the event today possible. Our partners, our sponsors, we'd like to thank them for their contribution to the event and for bringing us together. So I'm going to request Shri Santosh Das of Vakrangi